Before you start any plumbing job, make sure that you're comfortable and make sure you don't make no mistakes. If you're not comfortable with working with water, I'd advise you to call a professional or take your time and be smart about everything. So I have a job here. It's not leaking right now, but he says that when he opens it, I turned off the main water, that's why there's no water. But when he opens it and he closes it, it's still leaking. So I know what it is, it's the cartridge. It states that it's brand new, but all they did was change the face plates. So they didn't change what's inside of the wall. So what's inside of the wall could be old. And so what I gotta do is get the Allen key, take this off, get the cartridge out, and go buy a new cartridge. Fairly easy. You can do it yourself, and I'll show you how to do it. So I took out the screw. It's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So lefty-loosey, righty-tighty from the top all the time. Because it's a little screw and it's easy to break the screw. So you take that off and you take this screw out. So I took that screw out. You take this off, and remember how that stuff goes back together. It's pretty simple, but you can get it wrong quickly. And you want to take this off, and you can pull it out. But if you pull it out, it's not going to come out until you pop this thing off. And be careful not to lose it, because this thing is what holds this cartridge in. So you can't just pop it out. So let me get something to, like a flathead or something, to maneuver this thing off. And I'll take some pliers and pull it right out, and I'll show you guys how I do that. So I got a flathead, and I just put the flathead right here. Just popped it out. And now I'll get my monkey pliers and my monkey wrench, and I'll just wiggle it out like that. See how it's coming out? Slowly going. Because you don't want to break nothing. So just wiggle it, you know. And it could be possible, so now this is a big rubber washer around it. So it could be possible that salt and calcium buildup, you know, is seasoning it up, and the rubber is keeping it from coming out, because the rubber melts sometimes, especially if it's a long time. The rubber breaks down, the hot water, the cold water, and that may be glued in there. But as you can see, it came out a little bit, but I'm just going to keep playing with it. And so I pulled it out, and the cartridge here, you see the rubber, you see all the buildup. So what happens is inside there's a rubber too, but when you're using it, it just tends to break down inside, and like the washers, they melt away after a while. So I have to go and buy another one, and I'm just gonna pop it in there. It's just like, I think you've seen it. I have it in my other videos. I have another video that a lady wanted me to change the inside, but they're all the same. See, she changed it. It probably was old ball, glass globe, like they are sometimes. And, you know, she had this, the same as the other video that I did, but I didn't do that. I told her, you know, you don't ever need to change this, because they update these, you know, and they make them interchangeable. And look how beautiful that looks. So you can just go to Home Depot, and you don't have to ever change what's behind the wall. because it's soldered, and you'll get lucky sometimes and find a screw on one, but not all the time, and you don't want to compromise anything. So just change the cartridge. You know, you'll never have a drip leak. They last for so long, so many years. So I'm gonna go to the hardware store and I'll bring you guys up to date. So this is the old cartridge, and it came out, and the hole is on the bottom and this hole is on the top. But don't be discouraged, because it says hot and cold right here. So that means this is the top, because see, you know. So I bought the new cartridge. This is the new cartridge that I bought, and I already took the cartridge out. And as you can see, this cartridge is brand new, and it's nice, and it still has grease on it and everything. And you can see the difference between the cartridges. These little black pieces keep falling out, but you see, this gets corroded with salt, and you know, eventually water gets past it, you know, because it gets corroded and it gets worn down. You know, you're twisting it. This thing inside twists. You twist it, and eventually everything wears down and it gets soft and it starts to drip, leak. But you can see the difference. And so if you ever change these, here's a little tool that you can kind of stick on the side, because you can see how it is. You can stick on the side, and then you can kind of wiggle it loose, force it. And it has a thing for the monkey wrench, so you force it back and forth, and then you can kind of pull it out. Because most of the time these are screwed to the wood, but sometimes they're not, and you're pulling on it, and you crack the pipe. But what I do now is that it comes with grease as well. So I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on it. But what I would do now is feel inside, make sure it's all, everything's smooth. You know, you don't want too much roughness. A little bit of roughness, I mean, the holes line up. So that's the main thing. But what I will do is I'm gonna put this grease on my finger, you know, and then I'm gonna stick my finger in here and I'm gonna lube it up. Just to kind of clean it out a little bit as well. It'll clean it out a little bit. I can feel some grittiness in there. See, like there's a little, because the salt does get in there, so kind of as much as you can. I mean, what are you gonna do? Right here it's gritty, but I'm just gonna put the grease in there, put some grease on this, slide it back in, and I'll show you. So I put the grease on, so it's pretty much for the rubber parts. Like, I put some here. I put some on the rubber parts here because I forgot this piece, so I put some just on the rubber parts because I put it all around in there. And so now I just, you know, make sure the rubber parts are on, and it slides right in. You know, brand new. So what it is I guess this is what this piece is for. So you see how that goes in there? And then I'm gonna take the pliers and wiggle it and move it back. Just like this. So I'm gonna push on it with my hands, and I'm gonna move it back and forth as I'm doing it. And so I finished with that. Let's see how it's seated now, because the pin goes through this. That's why the pin wasn't going in. And so what happens now is, see this? The pin goes right in now. So there you go. Just make sure the pin's down like that. And then I put that back on. This goes on first. Then this goes on. And then it locks in, clicks in. And then this goes on because this is kind of like, this controls the hot water. Because you can adjust this, you know, see that's closed, and you can adjust it to where, or no, not this one you can't adjust it, or maybe you can, I don't know, this isn't the video, but see how this white piece locks in there, and then this is on the white piece, so you don't overturn it and break anything. So you have this. So I got the screw in, and what I'm gonna do now is this is where the locking nut goes in. So this is the locking nut, and that's where the hole where it goes in. So I'm gonna have to kind of go like this, line up the hole. If you can see, I don't think the camera's gonna pick it up, but you can see the hole lines up. Then I'm gonna put this screw back in, and it'll be fixed. No more dripping, no more problems.